So it finally happened. Shout out to Rob Pelinka. I am sorry. I apologize because I did not think he was going to pull it through. You almost got me there, boy. The way you fumbled that Kyrie Irving trade, boy, it was getting pretty nasty. But it's finally happening. Russell Westbrook is now traded from the Los Angeles Lakers in a 3-team trade. Before we get to the Lakers side, there's a lot of things to unpack here. Again, 3-team trade. Now, the Los Angeles Lakers received D'Angelo Russell, Malik Beasley, and Jared Vanderbilt. The Utah Jazz received Russell Westbrook, Juan Toscano Anderson, Damian Jones, and a first-round pick. And then Minnesota receives Mike Conley, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, and 3 second-rounders. So when it comes to this trade, all 3 of these teams had different objectives. When it comes to the Minnesota Timberwolves, they wanted to move off of D'Angelo Russell because they knew they were not going to pay him the money that he was requesting in the offseason, and they had to get another starting guard. I personally believe they could have gotten more for that, but they did accomplish that. When it comes to the Utah Jazz, they did not want to keep all of these nice young players out there. They had to start flipping players immediately for more young talent as well as some draft capital. They accomplished that. And then when it comes to the Los Angeles Lakers, obviously this is a team that sees a Western Conference that is wide open, so they had to get good as quick as possible. And this trade, in my opinion, accomplished that as well. But first, let's kind of take this bit by bit. First, when it comes to Minnesota, and I think this is just the easiest way to kind of look at it, man, I have no idea. Minnesota, this is getting pretty scary here. I don't know what y'all are doing out there. Understandably, you did not want to pay D'Angelo Russell. You need a starting point guard moving forward. Mike Conley does that for you, and if you want to retain him moving forward outside of next year, you get to keep him on a fairly team-friendly contract because of his age. But the production that you're probably going to start missing will be there. The drop-off offensively was really concerning me because D'Angelo Russell, over the past 20-30 games, especially since the new year, he's picked up his offense production a lot, especially in absence of Karl Anthony Towns. I'm really concerned with the direction in which they're going into. Financially, they're not going to give themselves any wiggle room to make any improvements moving forward, and I think this right here is a great example of that. When you already have committed so much money to Rudy Gobert and Karl Anthony Towns, and you still got to pay Anthony Edwards, anytime you do have a quality player on your roster, and when it's time to pay them, you're going to get a little bit tight financially. So if that means that you're going to have to move a quality piece because you're not able to pay him, and in return you receive a veteran, and again, Mike Conley, solid season, but who knows what he's going to look like next year as he continues to get older. I really don't know. When it comes to the Utah Jazz as a team, honestly, I thought they were going to get more than just one first rounder, but again, a draft pick, that's what they really wanted. In terms of Russell Westbrook, it's already been reported that he will be bought out, and that's really the conversation that I want to dive into. There are already some teams out there that are interested, but I do want to say this. In terms of Russell Westbrook, as a Laker fan, I really wasn't for the addition because I already knew the way that people viewed him, especially on the team. They didn't really add to his strengths. They actually heightened his weaknesses, not enough floor spacing, another ball handler. And Westbrook, he's not that portable of a player. He needs to be on a team with ample floor spacing. He needs to be on a team that will allow him to handle the ball, utilize his rim pressure and playmaking. That's the team that he needs to be on. When you're playing alongside Anthony Davis and LeBron, and you're going to do a lot of table setting, and you need to be a proper floor spacer, and you need to properly read, cuts and understanding how to be optimally used when you don't have the ball in your hands. Those are all things that Russell Westbrook, he's just not great at it all. I personally do not believe that Westbrook is as bad as a player as he was with the Lakers, but I do believe that the weaknesses that he possessed with the Lakers are truly who he is. The people out there who were delusional enough to believe that he's going to be a different player in year whatever it is, that's crazy, bro. Russ is Russ. Let him be Russ, and whatever team he goes to needs to be in a situation to best optimize who he is as a player. Because I say that, Westbrook has a very, very difficult decision to make, or really it's not that difficult, but it needs to be at least strategic. I think that's a better word, because bro, the way that people will talk about Westbrook, if he goes on the wrong team, it will get ugly fast. So when I see teams like the Chicago Bulls that are interested in Westbrook, I laugh. The idea that Russell Westbrook will fit alongside DeMar DeRozan offensively is also crazy. It's insanity. Russ, I'm not even the biggest fan of yours. Please do not do that to yourself. When I see people talk about, Miami's involved, of course, the history, the culture, the winning type of nature, that definitely seems like a team for Russ in terms of who they are as a culture in the front office, but the team just isn't a good fit for Russ. I look at Jimmy Butler, I look at Bam Adebayo. Defensively, those are great players to put alongside Russ, but offensively, my goodness, Russ, don't do that to yourself. Do not put yourself in a situation where you're another team that lacks floor spacing or at least questionable on that end, and you're going to do nothing but add to that problem. What I highly suggest Russell Westbrook to do is to sign with the Clippers. It makes sense. That's a team with great floor spacing, a team that plays small ball, a team that needs rim pressure, playmaking, somebody who can go out there and keep up the intensity, help them with the pace. That's the team that Westbrook needs to be on. And more importantly, Westbrook will be on a team where he will be once more the third option, just in a more suitable role on a suitable team for him. I'm gonna cross my fingers for you, Russ, my boy. I'm gonna cross my fingers for you, my boy. But you go to another team and you trash, that's tough. That's tough. And finally, we had the Los Angeles Lakers. So am I a fan again? I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna say yes. Rob Pelinka, you saved your job. You saved your identity as a GM or VP or whatever you are, the decision maker for a franchise, because after fumbling the Kyrie Irving transaction, because the more and more reports came out, the more and more it seemed as if like Kyrie was indeed on the table. You just were not willing, or the front office or Genie or whoever just wasn't willing to move off of as many pieces as they may need to put themselves in the Kyrie Irving sweepstakes. But now that we're here, I pick up a D'Angelo Russell, Vanderbilt, and Malik Beasley. You only gave up one first rounder. I would go as far as to say, for what this team actually needed, it might have actually been a better trade to go in this direction rather than Kyrie. The reason why I said it is because you didn't have to give up both draft picks. Actually, if I'm not mistaken, one of the picks that you gave up today, or the only pick that you gave up today, is actually protected. So shout out to you for that. And in this transaction, you fill out a little bit more of the roster. You get a bit more better in the backcourt instead of becoming a bit more shallow with some of the players that you might have had to give up for Kyrie, and Max Christie and Austin Reeves. And more importantly, you bring in a more defensive-oriented player in Jared Vanderbilt. There's still some questions and concerns, but I could easily see making the team more well-rounded rather than go for star power. I can see how that kind of balances out from one another in terms of like, which one would you take? Now, in terms of the breakdown of the Lakers, why is it so great for them? When it comes to D'Angelo Russell, starting point guard in this association. This past couple of months, since really the turn of the year, he's been amazing. Three-point shot has been there. Much more well-rounded as an offensive player. He can work off ball, on ball, dribble handoffs, and he has a really good shot selection diet. The finishing still needs to mature a little bit more. But in terms of what this team needs, again, floor spacing, shot creation, and also a quality playmaker. I actually believe between LeBron, Schroeder, and now D'Angelo Russell, we have three really competent, and I would actually say probably some of the best rotations of playmakers in the association right now. Then when it comes to Malik Beasley, short and sweet, 6'4" shooter, knock down the threes, and he brings that immediately. But then finally, we have Jared Vanderbilt, and that's actually, to me, the biggest pickup here, and also one of the biggest question marks. So for those who don't know, Jared Vanderbilt, man, he has a lot of defensive potential, like a lot of defensive potential. And I'm not trying to sit here and just gas him up because he's a Laker now, but what he can do defensively alongside Anthony Davis actually low-key turns me on. I'm gonna keep it a bean with you, dog. The amount of switching, the amount of rotations, the amount of rim protection, the high flying, the athleticism, the length, it's turning me on. But I will say this though, Vanderbilt offensively is trash, okay? And there's no real hiding that, and it is a bit of a concern because of the liability that he is offensively. And Darvin Ham is running these lineups, so because of the offensive liability of who Vanderbilt is, the lineups that will be ran around him, regardless if it's AD and LeBron, if not both, have to be very carefully constructed. But all in all, when it comes to the Lakers, man, I'm actually fairly surprised. I'm actually really happy as well. And also, I'm pretty optimistic of what this team can do. The Western Conference is still wide open. I have no idea why no one doesn't believe that the Lakers wouldn't be able to insert themselves into the playoffs. And I'm going to go as far as to say, AD back healthy, LeBron playing the way he's playing, if they can really figure out the rotation with Vanderbilt and not just completely roast themselves offensively while still being an elite level of defense, and then with the addition of a quality playmaker, passer, facilitator, scorer, and floor spacer in D'Angelo Russell, man, I don't know why the Lakers are not thrusted into the conversation to be a contender in the Western Conference. And I'm gonna go as far as to say, outside of the Denver Nuggets, I don't think that there's any team in the Western Conference that you can confidently claim are better than the Lakers now. Again, the Lakers still have a lot of their quorums. They still have concerns. They need to get a wing. They need to get potentially a backup 5, because I'm not really loving the fact that AD is playing the 5 right now. But as I said, I look at the rest of the Western Conference. It ain't moving me, dog. It's not. And finally, look, man. Westbrook, I wanna send out a olive branch to the Westbrook fans out there. You know, this was a tough year and a half for y'all. Outside of the nasty Russ fans, because there were a lot of nasty ones. I respect the delusion. I really do. I respect the hard work, determination, and how much you go for, you know, your favorite player. I respect it. It could not be me. There's just no way that, you know, somebody like that could be my favorite player and I continue to push propaganda for them. But as long as you were doing respectable, I acknowledge that. I think it should be applauded, because every day, I mean the bouts, the back and forths, the trolls, the memes that I would see on the timeline, in my comment section, on TikTok, really everywhere. I mean, it was a lot. It was a lot. I mean, I really prayed for you, because the mental wherewithal that you had to have, knowing that every single game, night in and night out. I mean, sometimes Westbrook wasn't even playing and his name was trending. I mean, it was disgusting. I mean, Westbrook got traded on the team, and then like a month or two later, a month or two into the season, Westbrook trade talk started to emerge. I mean, it was disgusting. I had to say, you know what? I'm going to apologize to you too, because I got pretty disgusting at times in some of those Twitter spaces. I apologize. I mean, I should have known better, and I apologize. I really do. And you know what? And again, for the respectable ones, not the nasty ones, the respectable ones, I have to give you your just due. I have to appreciate what you did. You rode for your guy, even in his darkest hours. And I can do nothing but appreciate that level of fandom and riding. And I do mean dick riding, because that's what y'all were doing. I can only appreciate that level of dick riding, because I didn't think it would ever be possible. Man. But with all that being said, you know, I'm going to get the Lakers a A- for this transaction. Really good trade for them. I'm going to give the Utah Jazz a B, just a B. I thought they could have gotten more than just one first rounder for Malik Beasley and Vanderbilt. I thought they were going to get more than that. And then when it comes to the Minnesota Timberwolves, C-. You're passing, but you're barely passing. And for a team that's committed that much money to a roster that is basically where they are last year, barely passing, quite frankly, is just not good enough. So do a little better next time. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Hopefully I can get this video out as soon as possible. And until next time, I'll see you all later. Oh yeah, hit the subscribe button. I'm gonna be uploading on this channel more often. Just hit the subscribe button, dog. Until next time, I'll see you all later. Peace.